The biggest misconception of what I talk about is that I'm going to get you to delete your Airbnb account, go no VRBO, just go all in on direct bookings. It is as dangerous going 100% book direct as it is going 100% Airbnb. You need to have a spread portfolio of your revenue coming in. So, get to 65% direct by all means. 35% of it will be made up of the OTAs, Airbnb, Booking.com, VRBO. So if for whatever reason, say you lose your superhost, and those of you that have lost superhost will know how hard it is to get back. And you'll know as well how quickly you just fall off the ranking, right? So when that does happen, you can then fall back on your direct booking strategy. Obviously, VRBO will play a part, Booking.com, and there's also other now smaller OTAs that are very niche, like Whimstay and other ones like that you can get listed on. There's so many that you can get listed on. I think that so many people aren't aware of. That the key is obviously get your systems and structures in place behind the scenes and just make sure you're visible in many places as possible.
My name is Rodman Schley. As a real estate expert, I've invested millions of dollars in vacation properties all around the world, and I've been involved in the valuation of billions of dollars of properties. I want to share my 35 years of experience along with vacation home investment tips from the top minds in the short-term vacation rental industry. Now, let's do the work. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Vacation Property Secrets Podcast. I'm your host, Rodman Schley, and today we're joined by Mark Simpson, the dynamic founder and CEO of Boostly, the leading platform helping short-term rental owners take back control of their bookings. Mark's a pioneer in the direct booking movement, empowering thousands of property hosts around the world to reduce their reliance on OTAs and build profitable, independent businesses. It's going to be great to get Mark's insight on how ultimately we can keep more money in our pockets through direct bookings. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. Excited for this to dig into this topic.
Now, I'm really excited about this for personal reasons too, because I've got a lot of properties myself, and I've gotten a lot of information about Boostly and what you do and how you do it, and I'm really just excited to have this conversation about, number one, how can we stop relying on all these outside resources when we're marketing our property and really start getting a lot more direct bookings? And so I know a lot of people, some of their entire business philosophy is, I'm just going to use these platforms and that's it. They're not even going out and trying for direct bookings. But maybe you can tell a little bit about your background and how you got into doing what you do.
Yeah, so I'm a bit of a rare breed really in this industry, but I was born into hospitality. I grew up in a 200-acre farm stay, bed and breakfast in the middle of the North Yorkshire moors in the United Kingdom. So for those who don't really know the layout of the United Kingdom and the geography, it's the northeast corner of the United Kingdom in this little in this little town, in this little village, and I grew up in it. And I spent 20 years trying to escape it. I was trying my hardest. I really wanted to be a football player, soccer player, but I'm not very good at playing soccer. So I ended up coaching it. Did that for 10 years. But this industry, I don't know what it has, this like magnet. It's like, it just keeps pulling me back. 2011, I came back into it full time. And yeah, I've been in it ever since. And so 10 years ago, I had this idea for Boostly, which is the company that I founded. And the whole idea behind it was to help hosts, Airbnb hosts, get more bookings, but without having to rely on Airbnb for it. And we've been doing it for 10 years and we're still here, still going strong. We've helped 2,000 people around the world in lots of countries and in every state in America apart from North Dakota. But I'm reliably informed there's nothing happening in North Dakota. So, but yeah, absolutely amazed at all the response to what I talk about and got some amazing opportunities to speak on podcasts and stages. And yeah, so thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, of course. Tell me a little bit about Boostly itself. Tell me about the platform, what it does and why it's so important for people and what they're doing with their short-term vacation rentals.
Yeah, so I think my sort of elevator pitch is that we give hosts the tools, the tactics, the training, but importantly, the confidence to go and get their own bookings. We do that for a number of ways. So the tools is website design. So we first and foremost, we design a website that actually works. There's so many people offering websites out there. Obviously, the free websites that you can get, and they just don't work. I always say you buy cheap, you buy twice. It's your most important. It's your online business card. It's that first impression. So we do that, and we've got a real good track record with it. Our websites have generated $250 million in direct bookings over the last 10 years. We connect up to our property management software partners, and it just works well. That's the first part. But anybody can do a website. Like I've said time and time again, you can go onto Fiverr and get one for $200. But it's like me giving you a Ferrari, but not the keys to drive it. right? You need to be able to have like the training alongside it and the tools alongside it to help generate traffic to that website. So we've got a training academy as part of what we offer. No additional cost. We have twice a week coaching calls. We have a monthly one-on-one check-in, and we just make sure that you've got everything in your arsenal to be able to get bookings. And we also power that with a CRM. So we use Go High Level. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's a very common CRM that's white labeled. So we've got Boostliness all over it, and it comes packed with email templates. We're going to obviously talk about email at some point. So love emails, love email templates. And we've also got automation, social media, AI. We've got everything plugged in. So all of that combined is just to help hosts get to 65% direct bookings. And for me, 65% direct bookings is one of the most important landmarks that you can become as a host, as a business owner, as a property manager.
Well, I think I'm falling on mine. I think I'm about 15% short of that. I'm just over the 50% mark on it, which
Nice.
I'm doing okay. We keep getting a little better and better. Our list gets bigger. Our emails, the number of people that we've got coming, the repeat customers keeps increasing and increasing, which is great
Yeah.
because, like you said, the more people that are direct booking, the better off we're going to be.
Yeah.
But in terms of just in general, what do most people see? Are most people not getting direct bookings at all, or are they somewhere in between there?
So I speak to a lot of hosts with what I do, and we've got like a pretty big list, and we've got a pretty big community. And I'm very lucky that we speak to hosts. So whether you've got one property and you're starting out, or whether you've got hundreds of properties and you're years into the game. Um, and we are very lucky in this industry of hospitality, of Airbnb, that where you can start a short term rental business, whether you're doing the management model, whether you're doing the arbitrage model, or if you own, that you can start a business today, take a couple of pictures on your iPhone, upload it to a couple of websites, and be pretty much guaranteed to get revenue coming in. There's no other industry or career that I know that you could do what you do. That's when I started Boostly. There was no website that I could put Boostly on that I could guarantee to get revenue coming in. I had to kick people, dragging, literally drag them kicking and screaming to do business with me, build that brand. So we're very luckily in the hospitality industry because of that. But it's a blessing and a curse, because it is so easy to get bookings and revenue from say Airbnb. When you're starting a business and you've got all these plates spinning, if that one plate that's marketing and sales, if you can just keep spinning and you just know that Airbnb is taking care of it, you just go, that's fine. But it's a blessing, but it's a curse, because there will come a point where that plate stops spinning. And there could be a number of reasons why. Just could be lots of competition in your area. You just become too reactive. You just literally rely on it. Your account could get suspended or deleted, which we see a lot nowadays. Or it could just be that you fall off the first page of Airbnb. And as we all know, if you're not on the first page, no one goes to page two. So you're never going to
Yeah.
get seen. And so a lot of hosts, they come to me in a couple of ways. Number one, they'll either be, confident, comfortable, but they want to start building this direct booking arm to their business. Or the worst case scenario is they're locked out of their Airbnb account. They're 100% reliant. They haven't got any income coming in. They've got loads of bills to pay, staff to pay, etc., and they need help. So it really does vary. The majority of the people that I see, I would say, are probably 80% or more reliant on just Airbnb for their revenue coming in, which is why I do what I do. I come on podcast webinars, speak on stages, just to sort of give people advice on what to do.
Well, I kind of feel like it's that if you think about the social media aspect, where you've got people, well, you never own your traffic, so people come and they follow you, but you don't own that traffic when they come in. You can't
Yeah.
control the algorithms in Facebook. You can't control who you reach on Facebook. You can't. There's so many things that are out of your control. But once you are direct booking, and once you start to capture emails and start to have that relationship, it's no longer a dependency on that Airbnb or that VRBO. You kind of claim your own independence at that point and are able to control the situations, control the outputs, control the inputs. Because like you said, if I follow the algorithm, I might be toast. If I'm 80% reliant on Airbnb and all of a sudden my listing falls off of that first page, I'm done.
Mhm. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it happens all the time, and we've just recently had a case study of this with TikTok in America. Everybody was panicking because they thought that TikTok was going to get banned, and there was content creators that have built their whole career by just being on the TikTok, and they had no ways and means of getting people off TikTok if it was banned, right? And so there was a lot of people panicking, and that's why a lot of people have gone multi-platform. So they started up their YouTubes, they got their Facebook going, their Instagram going, and you just substitute TikTok for Airbnb. And it's exactly the same thing that's going on. I always say there's two lanes. There's the fast lane and there's the slow lane, right? So the fast lane is like social media. The fast lane is Airbnb. Everybody's always on the fast lane, right? What you want to do is you want to get people into the slow lane. The slow lane is email, right? The slow lane is when you've
Mm.
got the data, because then when you post something on Instagram and you hit post, you have got so much noise around you. So even if somebody sees your post, there's instantly everybody else going, "Hey, look at this, look at this, look at this." You know, when you post on Facebook, only 0.1% of your followers see that post because there's so much noise. When you have a listing on Airbnb, even if they land on your listing on Airbnb, Airbnb is still pushing all of these alternatives, and it's the same for Booking.com, it's the same for VRBO. When you have an email address and when you have an email list, when you send that email, you are literally speaking to that person one on one. There's no outside noise. And as long as that email has a really good hook, so a real good title, a real good subject, and an excuse to get that person reading, you've got one on one communication. It is the best form. And that's what you get when you get data, like email, phone number, whatever it may be. You start to build that. And you're going to get people into the slow lane that will then consume more of your content. And then there's that rule that 7 hours of content that they consume, then will then become a customer for you. Email plays a massive part of that.
Yeah, and you're also, in that situation, you are in control of the relationship. I mean, when you're talking about the Airbnbs, the VRBOs, they control the relationship. They control the emails, they control the correspondence, they control the funding, they control just about every component, of the entire process. Where when you get those people into your sphere and when you get them into your system, then the communication is so much different. It's kind of like when I have a festival. We do a lot of stuff down in Costa Rica. So at my properties down in Costa Rica, if we have a festival, the month before, people are going to get a reminder of the festival, or they're going to get if there's some new restaurants opening up or something's happening at the beach, where I can control that communication and that relationship.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, you're 100% right. And when you've got the email, like you say, you can do your broadcast. When you've got the SMS, you can do the broadcast, and to keep people aware of it. And it's like as well from the other side of that, if you can build the relationships as well with the people, you can become the go-to in your area. So people say, "Hey, wherever I'm going, I want to go to you." Then it just becomes so much easier. And we're very lucky. Like again, this industry of what we're selling memories, right? So
Mm.
people will remember staying at your property for years to come. If you've got properties that are catered for families, they will talk about that when they're reminiscing. And you've got the ability to play a big part of that. So when it comes to selling and selling what you have, the inventory that you have, it is so much easier than having to sell a pen on Amazon, right? Or
Mm.
a whatever on Amazon drop shipping. So we have got an advantage. The worry is that too many people in this industry are so reliant on Airbnb. And it has been stated many times this year. Brian Chesky has said that he wants Airbnb to become the Amazon of travel. Now,
Mm.
my concern about that is that Amazon has absolutely monopolized so many industries, including the book industry. I brought out a book 3 years ago. It's called the Book Direct Playbook. It sold over 200,000 copies. I could only put it on Amazon. I didn't have a choice to do it direct. And every time I sell a book on Amazon, I don't get the name, I don't get your phone number, I don't get your email address, I don't get any data. All I do is I get a check in the post every couple of months. And the worst thing is that when I sell somewhat on Amazon, for every dollar that I sell on Amazon, they take 66 cents. So 66% commission that I have to pay Amazon. And my worry is that at the moment with Airbnb, we're lucky we get the name, the last name, we get the phone number. We don't get the email, obviously, but there's two payment models. You ever do the 3% model or the smart pricing model, which is the 14% model. And whatever you want, that's like still at its infancy. I believe is a case of when, not if, that 3% model will go and everybody will be on a flat rate of 14% and the guest will pay no service charge.
Mm.
And then what I believe that will happen is that 14%, depending on what happens, because the prediction is that by the end of this decade, by the end of 2030, the Airbnb will be at 80% of the whole bookings that's in this industry. So all the bookings that come in, Airbnb will control 80% of it. And if that happens, what is to stop them turning around and going, this 14%, we don't think it's realistic. We don't think it's the right for the work that we do for you. So let's move it up to 15, 16, 20. 30%, because there'll be nobody to stop them because they will monopolize it, just like what Amazon have done with the book world and what they're doing with the shopping world as well. So yeah, it's really interesting times right now. This is why it's important that, everybody like yourself, 50%, fantastic. I would love for everybody to get to 50%. My concern is that there's so many people that is on about 5-10% direct bookings, which we need to change.
Well, I'll also go a step further and say one of the things that saved me when I bought that property down in Costa Rica. So when we bought that property, of course, it was doing really good, kicking off really good numbers. But the second that we came in, that superhost status that was in place could not transfer over to me. So
Mm,
we lost all the momentum. We lost the algorithm. We lost the momentum. We lost the superhost status. And thank goodness we had those direct bookings. If we didn't have those direct bookings, we would have struggled significantly. But since we had those other bookings and we kept going on with the direct bookings, and then we were able to establish that superhost status, it made a lot of difference. But thank goodness for the
mm.
direct bookings. Otherwise, the volume of deals coming through could have been negligible.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. Well, like I say, I feel like the biggest misconception of what I talk about is that I'm going to get you to delete your Airbnb account, go no verbo, just go all in on direct bookings. It is as dangerous going 100% book direct as it is going 100% Airbnb. You need to have a spread portfolio of your revenue coming in. So, get to 65% direct by all means. 35% of it will be made up of the OTAs, Airbnb, Booking.com, VRBO. So if for whatever reason, say you lose your superhost, and those of you that have lost superhost will know how hard it is to get back. And you'll know as well how quickly you just fall off the ranking, right? So when that does happen, you can then fall back on your direct booking strategy. Obviously, VRBO will play a part, Booking.com, and there's also other now smaller OTAs that are very niche, like Whimstay, and other ones like that you can get listed on. There's so many that you can get listed on. I think that so many people aren't aware of. The key is obviously get your systems and structures in place behind the scenes, and just make sure you're visible in many places as possible.
Yeah. So, Mark, let's talk a little bit about Boostly itself. So, we talked a little bit about the website and how that all happens. Now, I mean, we all know that you just don't throw up a website and all of a sudden you're successful, right? I mean, that's
Mm.
in anything you do, whether it's vacation homes, whether it's any business, right? You're going to come in and you got to do the work behind it. So, with Boostly, you're getting the website. You're getting, I'm sure, the platform that helps with the calendars and the bookings and everything like that. Is there anything that you guys do that help in terms of that building that presence with the website or getting the word out, getting the marketing pieces behind it?
Yeah, I mean the website is like your online business card. It's
Mhm.
like if you were in a coffee shop or if you were at an event or a conference or a networking, if you were to say, hey, I've got these properties in Costa Rica, and they go, oh, can I find out more? You give that business card. That business card, you want to be confident giving that to a stranger to be able to go, oh yeah, that's a good website. So you've got your website, and I'm saying it's the most important. My worry, and this is the reason why we started doing website design, is that it's on everybody's like throwaway thing that I need to do. Oh, I've got all these things, the website, I'll just use whatever. But again, you get yourself a good website. The one that we recommend, the CMS to use, the content management software to use is WordPress. The reason being is that WordPress is used by 42% of all the websites in the world. It's the most used. Google loves it. Um, it is easy to use for a lot of people when they look at it for the first time. They're like, oh my gosh, do I need a coding degree to use this? The answer is no. It is simple if you've got the right tools in place. But again, once you've got a WordPress site set up, then obviously you got to tap into like the other verticals. The things that we teach at Boostly is obviously social media plays a huge part in it. You know, I've been doing a lot of audits for marketing for Airbnb listings and Airbnb hosts over the last month. I've done hundreds. And what is amazing to me still in 2025, that there are so many hosts who have not got an Instagram account. It is bananas to me because Instagram is the one social media that is driving accommodation stays more than any other channel.
Mm.
TikTok is obviously very popular. Facebook is obviously Facebook, but Instagram is the one. So we teach you how to use social media, how to create content that actually converts, and then you've got your staples like things like SEO. SEO is huge. It's once you create it, it will be always there. Obviously, social media and search engines are a huge part of discovering your business. And we talk about AI. AI relies on solid SEO to be able to read your website to be able to give the information to a human. So SEO is key. But then you've also got these lovely little marketing tactics I mean, I've been saying for a while, I was on the Bigger Pockets podcast. I was on a few other podcasts where I say it's the old school marketing tactics, which are the new school marketing tactics. You know, the things that we used to do way back when. The offline tactics are the ones that are working best. So, you know, when a booking comes in, pick up the phone and call your guest, right? It is insane how powerful that is for so many reasons. But the biggest reason is everybody's zigging. So everybody's over here zigging. They want everything to be automated. They never want to speak to a human. They want it to be all done by robots. They all want it to do. They never want to pick up the phone. If you zag and if you pick up the phone and speak to a human, your guest is going to massively appreciate that. Any concerns about booking a stay with you will eradicate as soon as you pick up the phone and speak to them. Not even to mention the opportunity to earn more money with upsells, maybe getting them booked in for any shoulder dates that you've got, any orphan dates that you have available. So if somebody's booked for 3 nights and the next guest isn't due in for another 4 nights after that, you've got those 3 little tricky dates in between that are always hard to shift. See if your guest who's made that booking might want to extend for a couple of nights. You never know. If you never ask, you never know. And obviously the upsells on things that you can sell and stuff. But yeah, things like that are so important. And then, you know, the other cool things about attending networking events and, you know, becoming the go-to, meeting other people. That book that I mentioned, the Book the Right Playbook, there's 101 tactics in there. And the cool thing about that is that not one of those 101 tactics is Facebook ads, Meta ads, which are going to get you to spend loads of money. They're all very cheap or they don't cost anything at all.
Would you suggest that people do any meta ads? I mean, I know that, some people do a little bit of marketing. I mean, it doesn't have to be a lot, I guess, or spend a lot, but do you get any returns on that?
If you do meta ads wrong, you basically just might as well set your money on fire, right?
Mhm.
Unfortunately, with meta ads, you've got to have a 3-part system for it to be successful. Number one, you've got to have a fantastic ad. So the copy, the image has to be phenomenal. The second part is that your audience that you are putting in front of has to be correct, because you could put it in front of the wrong people. They don't care. And then the other part is that the offer that you've got to give them for them to click on to go and claim it has to be good. And then you've got to have the tracking in place. If any one of those 4 things are out of sync, it's broken. And
Mm.
unfortunately, with hospitality, property management software tools, and I'm not going to name any, but they're all the same, they haven't got the proper tracking. And if you can't put the proper tracking pixels to know when something has been successful, you'll never be able to measure if it's working or not. And I've seen ad campaigns that have spent thousands and it has not worked in any way, shape, or form because they haven't been able to track it. Now, that doesn't mean that you cannot not use ads. There's ways to use ads that can be successful. So I've seen some ad campaigns that have worked well for just people to sign up to an email list. So for example, it could be coming to Costa Rica. Would you like our top 5 hidden away from the tourist trap places to go and visit while here? Or do you want the best places to eat? Click on here, right? You can do that. Takes them to a landing page on your website with a simple lead gen form.
Hey, everybody. I hope you're enjoying this episode of the Vacation Property Seekers podcast. I want to let you know about one question that I get all the time, and that's, how do I forecast my cash flow and my profitability when investing in a vacation home? Now, if you've ever wondered that, or you know somebody who has, you're in the right place. We've created a free training called Financial Forecasting for Maximum Vacation Home Profitability. Now, in this training, we're going to guide you step by step on how to accurately project rental income, estimate your operating expenses, and calculate your returns so you can make informed investment decisions. You can access the free training at vacationpropertyexpertnetwork.com. So if you're ready to dive deeper into financial fundamentals and maximize your profitability, visit vacationpropertyexpertnetwork.com.
So the
Okay.
cool thing about that and the Costa Rica and that is that the page will go to on a WordPress website. Once they hit their email in, it will track it as a conversion. So that is where I've seen it being really successful for meta ads. And another example is if you've got a management business and you want to be put in front of homeowners, so to speak, and you want to get more properties, again, you can run ads for that and you can do it successfully. Again, you just got to make sure that those 4 quadrants are ticked off of really good ad copy, really good image, really good captions that are in there. You've got your ad set up. So the audience that you're going to put the ad in front of, the offer is good. And obviously you've got the tracking on the far end. So there are ways to do it. Unfortunately, I see so many people just hit the boost button. They put $100 to it, and they might as well have just set it on fire because it doesn't do anything for anything.
No, I mean, you gotta understand the meta ads. You need to understand how to optimize and get your best results. Like you're saying, that pixel is so important too. But like, I inherited a platform. So when I bought the Costa Rica property, I inherited a platform. The website, I won't say the name of it just because the website is not very good and it's not very robust because I can't go in and do much with it. I've got it as optimized as I'm ever going to be able to get it,
Yeah.
but it's still not very robust. So I've got a retreat space down there. So I've got these 6 villas, central pool, yoga platform. For me to run a meta ad though would be okay because I feel like I could reach out to people who are interested in retreats, like yoga instructors. I can really target Pilates instructors who want to do a retreat in Costa Rica and then put that specifically in there. Here's a guide on running a retreat down in Costa Rica. Get
Yeah.
your free guide, right?
Yeah.
And I could track it because I've got another website set up just for retreats, just so I could track that pixel also. So it's
Yeah.
a workaround, unfortunately, but it's something that I think you've got to have. If you can't track your data, if you can't track how much you're making on that dollar you're spending, you're going to be losing that dollar.
Yeah, what gets tracked gets measured. So it's the
Mm.
thing that I've learned from day one, and it's super, super important. And again, the problem is that when everybody feels of Facebook ads, and I see it a lot, I see a lot of people talking about it on YouTube videos. I see a lot of people talking about full stop. They instantly think I'm going to run a meta ad to get a booking. And as soon as I hear somebody saying that, I know that they're going to be wasting their money. So, I mean, there's ways to do it. There's ways not to do it. So hopefully that stops somebody from trying to run an ad to get a booking.
Yeah. Well, and what would you say, Mark? And again, I mentioned that I inherited my platform. So they had the platform in place. It was all the connections are made. The website's up. I went and redid everything. But what would you say to somebody who is going? I've got this thing in place. I feel like I've got it optimized. But maybe if I wanted to look at somebody like Boostly and said I want to migrate that, is that a tough? Is it a tough migration? Is it a long migration?
No, not at all. First and foremost, it depends on what the system they have behind the scenes, because the website is like what I call the car body, right? The website is the car body. It's the one that grabs the attention when you're driving down the street. Is what people gets them to turn their heads. It's the engine is your property management software tool behind the scenes. So a PMS or a property management software, Guesty, Hostaway, they're the big two. You've got Hostfully, you've got Hospitable, you've got all these. There's like over 1,000 of these companies to choose from. So it's a good thing. There's over 1,000. There's a bad thing. There's over 1,000. So there's lots of choice. You go into any Facebook group, you type in which PMS should I go for? Out of 10 answers, you'll get 10 different companies. My advice here is that you just got to find one that works for you. You got to book a demo, you've got to speak to the team, and you've got to decide what's the most important buying reason for you, because there's different companies for different ones. With Boostly, what we did, and this is probably our USP, which is probably why we're like the go-to for website design, is that we went and made partnerships and connections with the 27 biggest property management software providers in the world. So what happens is that we get people come to us like you that have inherited a system, have inherited a website that's just like, listen, that's not working. You give us the access to the PMS, you show us what we're doing, and we'll just connect it up. We'll put it into our framework because we've got a framework that works. It's proven. It turns lookers into bookers. We'll take your pictures, we'll take your wording. Because we've got the connection, we can sync all of the data from your PMS into your website within 2 minutes. And then we just work with you to customize it, build it around your vibe, your theme, your logo, et cetera, et cetera. And it takes us 6 weeks to do. So it's super simple to do. Like we have a lot of people come to us who are in the same situation. They've inherited it, they've bought it, they've merged, and they just need a little bit of sort of work behind the scenes to make it actually look good.
Yeah, and I think some of the things that like go through somebody like Mai's head is like, what's going to happen to the SEO? Am I still going to be, if I'm making this change, am I going to have issues? Am I not going to show up in the search engine results like I was showing up before?
Yeah.
Are there any kind of obstacles like that, Mark?
Well, the most important, I mean, not the most important, but the majority of people who come to us, just by a simple look of your Google Analytics, you'll see how strong that you are and what you're actually ranking for. So many people who come to us haven't even looked at Google Analytics, never mind done a deep research and looked at the stats behind the scenes. So for the majority of people, they wouldn't be ranking anyway. And even if they were ranking, all we have to do is just say to Google, hey, that page is just over here. That thing is over here. It's now presented in a better format and a better style. But the caveat is that the SEO or up to what's it today? July the 1st. Let's say July the 1st, 2025, in a month's time is going to be out of date. The way that AI is rewriting SEO is scary. And ChatGPT 5 is basically a month away from coming out, and it's going to absolutely rewrite the rules on how SEO is. In a year's time, we will be writing website copy not for humans, which to me is bananas saying that. We will be writing copy on websites not for humans, but we'll be writing it for robots, which is insane to think about, but that's just a reality of where we're at for this. So again, any SEO that you've got going in like literally as of June 2025 is out of date. Right?
Yeah.
Anything you've got from 2024 is even further out of date. So it's all changing anyway. All the rules of this are changing very, very quickly, which again brings me all the way back to email, all the way back to owning your data, owning your list, because it doesn't matter what vertical you're under, whether it's social media you're really good at, YouTube you're really good at, SEO you're really good at, Airbnb you're really good at. The rules are always changing, and it must feel like you're always having to jump back on that hamster wheel just to be able to keep afloat.
Yeah, and honestly too, Mark, if you think about the type of people who typically own these types of properties, they're not full-time running a property. So you've got so many owners that are part-time or
Yeah.
they're working and then they're putting as much time as they can into it. But it's almost secondary. So they're not thinking about SEO. They're not thinking about emails. They're not thinking about newsletters. I mean, that's like secondary thinking for them because their first thought is, I got to get up and go to work today. I mean,
Yeah.
what about a person like that? Is Boostly plug and play enough where somebody can get up and go, hey, I can take and I've got this support system in place that's going to help me, even though this is some of it a secondary thing for me, really be effective at it.
So I'll be truthfully honest. The people that I want to work with, the people that I truly want to make an impact for, this is their full-time gig. This is they want to make this their career. There's a lot of people that I call hobbyist hosts that have got maybe 2 or 3 properties that have got the full-time gig, and the hospitality side is 4th and 5th down the list of their importance of how they're going to generate money. And that is cool, right? They go on Airbnb. They will list on Airbnb and Airbnb only. They won't have a property management software until they don't care. As long as they get some bookings coming in, that's fine. That's fair. The people that come to me, I feel like they are wanting to make that step. The most recent person I can think of, this lady called Alison. In January 2025, she started this journey of short-term rentals. In May 2025, she joined Boostly. Her website has just gone live, and she is all in on this. She said that the moment that she joined and she saw her website, she felt like she leveled up, which is the type of person that I want to be working with and making an impact on. They make up the majority of the hosts on Airbnb, which is phenomenal for me. And again, from the way that I can make an impact. If you're just doing this for a hobby, again, there's no drama in that. All the best.
So, Mark, I want people to be able to find you, learn about more about what you're doing and how they can be a part of what you're doing. And the best places are usually social media and your website. Is that where you want to send people to?
Yeah, the best place to go would be go to Instagram, which is Boostly UK. So BOOSTLY UK. It's literally on my chest. BOOSTLY UK. Go send me a message and just say you heard me on the podcast, or just DM me the word rocket, and I'll know that you'll be wanting to find out more about direct bookings. But yeah, Instagram is the best place. Love to chat to people on there. So please come and send me a message.
Rocket. I love it. Last thing, you're such a wealth of knowledge. I'm telling you, Mark, I've learned so much just from you. And I know quite a bit about the industry, been in it for a long time, but man, this has just been a great conversation today. But with all the knowledge that you've gained over the years, if you could talk to that one person who's either coming into the industry, maybe they're struggling a little bit right now, what would be the one piece of advice that you would give them that could be the most valuable on their journey?
So my big advice would be to go and get yourself set up with a property management software tool. Like I said, there are lots of choice out there. We put a blog together on the Boostly website. We interviewed 100 property owners and hosts to ask them about their PMS of choice. You can go to boostly.co.uk/P for Peter, M for Michael, S for Sugar, PMS. There's a blog post, which is like the pros and cons of them all. Go check that out. But my main advice for everybody is to get that, because when you've got that PMS, that becomes your central zone of truth. At the moment, for everybody, Airbnb is that central zone of truth. And what I see so many times is that they'll go on Airbnb, they'll do it for a year, and then they'll hear about this thing called VRBO. So I go, oh, I want to get listed on VRBO, but you don't want to get a double booking. So you just basically add your iCal from Airbnb to VRBO, and then that makes it so you don't get a double booking. But the problem is that you're making Airbnb your central zone of truth. So again, if Airbnb gets locked out, shut out, your VRBO goes to pot as well. So if you've got a PMS in the middle, the connector, that will be your central zone of truth. That's where you go every day. That's how you can connect to Airbnb, to VRBO booking. You can also connect it to Stripe, so you can start taking direct payments. And obviously you get your website, which is great, and you can do so much more. But if you go and get your PMS to start with, then you're on the right track.
Mark, thank you. Wealth of knowledge. Can't wait to learn more from you. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Vacation Property Secrets podcast. If you enjoyed the show, we'd really appreciate it if you could leave a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. By leaving a review, you not only support the show, but you also help others find and enjoy it just like you did. Also, please share this episode with somebody who could benefit from it. And if you're aiming to build a short-term vacation rental investment business that's based on strong investment fundamentals and not just emotion, I'd love to invite you to a free training that I'm hosting. It's my financial forecasting for maximum vacation home profitability training, an on-demand video course that's completely free. It walks you through the investment fundamentals to build and scale your short-term vacation rental business. You'll also learn how to estimate investment income and your operating expenses to build a projected pro forma operating statement and the potential NOI and return on investment for your property. Just go to vacationpropertyexpertnetwork.com to get access to your free training. We'll see you next week for another episode of the Vacation Property Secrets podcast.